Steve Coates' appearance today on the show brought to you by Coors Light. The bigger the mountain, the better the reward. Wherever your mountain, climb on. Big win for the Flyers last night. I was like a big win. It's not going to change the course of the season, but it was a nice win. How about that?
Look, they lost in Chicago when they played the Blackhawks out in the Windy City, so it's nice to come back home and hand them a little dose of our top line is better than your top line.
The Flyers' top line last night, all three members scored goals. Giroux Voracek had 3-point games, and the chemistry is starting to really come through. And a lot of people, Coatsy, were wondering what the heck were they doing with that Couturier center, Giroux on the left wing, but it seems that at least the top line is getting things going in the right direction here. They looked pretty good last night.
No question about it, Michael, but I'll tell you, it's absolutely fascinating to me how for many years, since Scott Hartnell left, we were looking for a left winger to play with Giroux and Voracek. 2 years ago, we actually tried every forward at that position except for one guy, and that was Sean Couturier, because nobody thinks that Sean Couturier can play the wing. So be it. But to all of a sudden have the instinctiveness to be able to move Giroux to the wing and Couturier to the middle, give Dave Haxtell a lot of credit, because I wasn't one that believed it was going to happen, or work rather, and it's been absolutely spectacular, and it's only going to get better. You can see that Couturier is feeding off the ability to play with Giroux and Voracek, and they are, both those two guys, feeding off the ability to play with Couturier, who brings a defensive style that helps them in their own zone.
And, Coachy, I guess you'd also have to give Giroux a little credit, too. I mean, obviously, he's used to playing on one, but to sort of swallow his pride and say, sure, I'll go wherever you need me.
Oh, you got to give him a lot of credit, Pete. I mean, what he did, I mean, for a kid that's been, at the professional level, being a center his whole life, and then all of a sudden you're saying, okay, listen, not only are you going to move you to the wing, you're going to play the off wing. A lot of people don't realize how tough that is to play the off wing. In your own zone, it's hard. In the offensive zone, it's a little bit easier because you're facing the net, going to the net, looking at the net a lot easier than you're coming off the wing and you're kind of looking over your shoulder. So, yeah, he deserves a lot of credit, and he's done a really good job. Now, when you watch them play now, I said it last night on the air, there really are no positions. They're flying all over the place. They're east-west, they're north-south, but in their own zone, Couturier does a lot better job, and I don't think G'd be upset me saying this, that does a lot better job below the circles when need be to go back and help the defense. There's no two ways about it. That's a real strength for him.
23 goals, 60 points in 16 games. That's the second overall numbers of the entire NHL. I mean, they're not just excelling the lead of the Flyers. They're excelling in the NHL. Now, Brian Elliott gets the start last night, Coatsy. 39 shots, kept a lot of those to the perimeter. They only let one through. Brian Elliott looked pretty good last night.
I said to Timmy at the beginning of the game, about 10 minutes in, I said, it's interesting how when you watch a goalie, you can tell when he's on and when he's not. And last night, you could just see right off the get-go, he was like on. And he just got better and better. And we talk about how the Flyers played and took that big lead, but the key is that Brian Elliott came up big in the latter two periods. At one point, we'd been outshot 22 to 10 since the end of the first period, but midway through the third period. So it just tells you how important he was to the win. He was really on it. And that was the kind of goaltending I think that the Flyers were looking for. That by far was the best effort he had last night.
Yep, and Steve Coates is with us, Flyers radio analyst. How about Couturier? He is emerging as such a playmaker for the team. I mean, he's almost got as many goals now as his career high.
Oh, it's scary. I mean, yeah, listen, as long as I've been in this business, you're only as good as who you play with. No two ways about it. And if you play with guys that you're going to flourish by their abilities, and then they're going to get better because of your abilities, then it goes back to what you had mentioned when we started this whole conversation. It's all about the chemistry and understanding where everybody is. But obviously a skill level that he's never played with before. He's always been playing with third-line guys. All of a sudden he's playing with first-line guys. Man, that's a little bit of different, and he is absolutely benefiting it, and he's going to take that to the bank every day now, knowing that he's up there and he's going to get better and better at that position.
Coates, I thought Steve Coates with this Flyers radio analyst, I thought another storyline last night was the fact that Radko Judas came back to the lineup. Goody back in there. All due respect to Mark Alt, who, by the way, got loaned back to the Phantoms today, so he goes back down to the minors. But Radko Judas adds something to that blue line. Now, what does he bring, in your opinion, to have a Radko Judas back in there?
Awareness for the other team. Awareness, the fact that you better keep your head up through the neutral zone. Awareness that if you go into your corner or his corner, you're going to get punished. And that's something that obviously has not, it's not like it used to be, but he's a throwback, and he makes everybody honest on the ice when he's out there. The other thing, too, is that it allows you to have the perfect combinations of a defensive player with an offensive player in your pairings. That way you've got, right now, Provorov, Haig, Gostisbehere, Manning, and Sanheim playing on the left side with Gudas. So you get that nice combination, and you can roll your defense in a proper fashion. You get your veteran back, a guy that he's got the most games right now among all the players with McDonald out. So it's a comfort zone now to have those guys back in the blue line. I don't even look at those young players the way they're playing, and they're playing so well. I don't even look at them anymore as being a deficiency, because that's how well they're playing.
And I'm glad you brought up that pairing of Provorov and Haig, because they were the ones that were matched up again. The Blackhawks had tried to move last night to jumpstart their offenses. They put together that old line of Taves, Patrick Kane, and who was it, Sharp, right? And put those guys together.
It didn't work. Didn't work. I don't think Patrick Sharp's what he was, Pete. And I think that's like I just said, you're only as good as who you play with. So if Patrick's able to keep up with both Taves and Kane, then it's not going to work. I thought with Flyers were in trouble because, you figure they haven't won here since 1996.
Right.
The due theory was definitely in. The other thing is the why. I mean, the mothers. We have father's trips. They have a mother's trip. So all the mothers were here. And I didn't think the guys were going to lose in front of their mothers, but they did. So be it.
I'll tell you what, though, Coach, the game changer last night had to be the 5-on-3. I mean, and no Provorov out there, too, to kill that 5-on-3. That had to be because they go up 3-0, and then they give up the goal, and then that 5-on-3, you're feeling like this could really, I think that was really the difference maker.
Yeah, and I thought Brandon Manning did a spectacular job on that. Brandon Manning does not get enough attention, does not get enough accolades, because everybody else is always talking about the Provorovs of this world, and Sanheim and Haig coming to the lineup, Gostisbehere having a career year and also a franchise year after the quickest 100 points for a defenseman. But Brandon Manning night after night comes and gives his all, and with McDonald out, he has just been spectacular. And please, everybody, understand how good McDonald is now, and understand what he brings to the table. You don't know how good you have it until you miss it, and he is a perfect example of that.
Get off that McDonald bashing train, says Steve Coates. Hey, since you brought up November 9th, 1996, let's play this game. Do you remember who some of the goal scorers were for Chicago in that game?
November 9th, 1996?
I'm gonna throw
probably Jeremy Roenick, Tony Amani.
Amani is correct.
Okay. Oh gosh, 1996. Al Secord?
No. Gary Suter was in there though.
Oh yeah.
And then there's one. There's one former Flyer that was on the Blackhawks at that point. I did not realize this.
Former Flyer, 1996.
Not Roenick. Muzz. Did Murray Craven play for the Blackhawks? Because I think he's on that list.
Wow. Yeah, he did.
And then Eric Daze is the fourth, with Jeff Hackett, by the way, making 33 saves. Garth Snow started that game in goal and was relieved by Ron Hextall in 24 and 44 minutes of relief. John LeClaire with the Flyers' lone goal in that one. That's how, look, the streak against the Blackhawks, I said this last night, Coatsy, the streak is now 21 years and counting. So the streak
That's the last time Chicago won in Philly?
That's in a regular season game. Regular season.
Right.
We don't want to bring up the playoffs.
All right. I was just making sure.
6,
was Eddie the Eagle in goal for the Blackhawks?
No, it was Jeff Hackett.
Oh, I thought Jeff Hackett was the Flyers goalie.
No, Jeff Hackett, 33 saves.
Gotcha.
The Flyers goalie was
he was. He did play for us, Michael.
Yeah, I do.
He had some kind of what's that called? He had vertigo.
Oh.
Bad thing to have for the goalie.
Yeah. Steve Coates.
So Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, in my defense for not remembering that date and the amount of people on there, I apologize. I drink beer. In fact, I drink Coors Light. So, hey.
By the way, Flyers,
love you,
Minnesota
pal.
tomorrow
We love
night.
you.
They take on the Wild, and of course they play the Wild again out in Minnesota on Tuesday. So a back-to-back job with this Minnesota Wild hockey team. We were talking earlier today about the Minnesota North Stars. You remember that team? They went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I had said, oh, they were the 8th seed. Well, back then it was like the one of the
Norris,
the Norris division played the 4 team from the Norris division, and they made that wild run all the way, and they lost to Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup Finals. You remember that, right? That was Bobby Clark.
Who was the general manager?
Yeah, that was
Who
Clarky.
the general manager?
Clarky, right.
Yeah. Brian Propp played on that team.
Ilka Sinisalo.
Yeah, and that was a heck of a series. Lemieux put on a show in that series.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Yeah, I remember that because in woodshop class I made a clock that was the Minnesota North Stars Cinderella season. Mike Madonna. All right, Coachy.
He was young.
Hold on, whoa. What did you get in the class? I mean, you had to get. What was your grade?
Oh,
It was pass fail.
Oh yeah, it was an A. Yeah. It was green and black. All right. Steve Coates of the Flyers Radio Network, brought to you by Coors Light. The bigger the mountain, the better the reward. Whatever your mountain, climb on. Coachy, have a couple Coors Lights on me, pal. It's not going to be on Thompson.
Hey, listen,
they're not going to be on Thompson. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I'll be having a couple up in Winnipeg because it's going to be cold.
Yes, sir. Safe travels.
All right,
Talk
pal.
soon,
Take
buddy.
care.
See you.